Zephyr Sports presents East Penn Conference Basketball. Hello, everybody. I'm Johnny Dady along with Mike Zambelli, all set to bring you the East Penn Conference opener for the 91-92 Scholastic basketball season. Tonight, the host team, the Zephyrs of Whitehall High School, entertaining the Vikings of Allentown Central Catholic. My guest tonight, the head coach here at Whitehall High School, Ron Hassler, in his 9th year as head coach here at Whitehall High School. Ron, another year and 9th year here at Whitehall. Do you believe it went that fast?
Yeah, you had the goal to remind me that I'm the 4th oldest surviving coach right now in the Lehigh Valley area, so that sort of sunk to home. So, yeah, it's getting to be up there.
If you had to do it all over again, would you do the same thing?
Yeah, I think I'd make the same moves that I made and everything else, so I'm real happy, you know, where I'm at right now and with the way the kids have always performed.
Okay, last year you were 17-1 in East Penn Conference. You lost East Penn Conference playoff to Easton. You avenged that setback with a convincing victory over Easton to win the District 11 championship. You wound up 23-6 on the season. There's a little different format this year. You'll be playing 20 conference games instead of 18. Does that make any difference to you?
Nothing makes any difference in the conference. I mean, it just doesn't really matter until that last week. So what we want to try to do maybe this year is be prepared that last week and be a little bit fresher and maybe not put as much emphasis on the end of the season, the last week of the season, so our kids are a little bit fresher for the tournament.
Coach, 4 of last year's starters graduated. You only have Pete Lisicki back. What does this squad look like?
It presents a lot of question marks because we open with a team with no seniors with experience, and most of the time your leadership comes from your seniors. So either one of our seniors are going to have to develop as a leader as the season goes on, or we're going to have to look to the underclassmen level to get it, and that sort of makes me feel a little nervous because I've always had my leaders come from a senior class. All
right, now this is your first game this season. This is Central Catholic's third. How big of a difference will that make?
It's a big difference. It's a lot of difference in scrimmaging or running around with nobody in the stands and now coming out here tonight and trying to control your emotions and keep your game under control and get the things done we want to get done. So it makes a big difference, but we're going to be ready to play.
Why don't you schedule 2 tip-off games rather than a holiday?
It's a number of reasons. First of all, we just lacked a schedule one a few years ago, and we usually have quite a few football players involved also, so usually it benefits us to start a little later because it gives them another 3 or 4 practices before they open up.
Coach, does the 91-92 season look to be as competitive as last year's setup?
Yeah, I think so. I think your Eastons and Allens are picked, but they're not untouchable teams. And in fact, I think last year, Petersburg, I think most people were considering a lot more untouchable than Easton or Allen is right now. So I think it'll be real competitive. I personally don't know where we're going to end up. It depends how everything falls together for us as December rolls on. I think that goes with a lot of other teams.
Coach, always nice talking to you. I know you want to talk to kids. Good luck.
Okay,
we'll see you around. Okay, Ron Hassler in his 9th year as head coach here at Whitehall High School. Mike, this is the 59th meeting between these two schools. Allentown Central Catholic holds the lead, 38 victories compared to 20. However, against East Penn Conference competition, they are 11-11.
Well, this is a great rivalry, John, and it's a little ironic, you know, and you've been around, and I talked to the coaches. I don't feel that intensity, and I think there's a reason. I think both coaches are concerned early going here that they need to answer some questions. Central's played 2 games already, and you just talked to Ron Hassler. He has no idea what to expect tonight, so I think that might be missing a little bit, but certainly it is Central Catholic and Whitehall.
Do you agree with Coach Hassler when he said the league will be as good as last year?
I don't know. I think that has to prove itself. They're talking about Allen and Easton, and, you know, I don't know if I see that. I think a lot of teams need to come forward and prove themselves. I don't think there's a Petersburg like last year that was a clear-cut favorite. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to maybe surprise some people. Overall, I think that has to prove that to me yet. I don't see that.
All right. Are you ready for the round ball?
Let's go get it. I'm glad you're back, by the way. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Let's tap it off.
TV, Super 2.
All right, we're back here, ready to tap it off in Whitehall under ninth-year head coach Ron Hassler is coming off a super 90-91 campaign in which the Zephyrs posted an incredible 17-1 East Penn Conference season, and they were 23-6 overall. Their lone loss in league play, by the way, was the highly favored Peaburg, 51-38. Whitehall, despite its 17-1 league record, had nothing to show for its efforts. Under the East Penn Conference format, the top 6 teams in the conference compete for the overall championship. Well, it happened. Easton, with a 14-4 conference mark, defeated the Zephyrs 47-33 to wrap up the East Penn Conference crown and got the number 2 seed in the District 4A playoff. The Zephyrs avenged that setback, defeating Easton 58-36 in the district championship game to walk off with that trophy. For Allentown Central Catholic, the 1990-91 season wasn't something Viking fans were writing home about. For some high school teams, a 13-5 league and a 19-9 overall mark would be quite an achievement. But the Vikes had a new head coach in Richie Baxton, a new system to get used to. The Vikes lost twice to Whitehall in regular season play, the first time around back on Thursday night, December 13th, 1990. Boy, that seems like ages ago. That was game number 3 for Central, and they dropped it 51-41. The win was the second for the Zephyrs in as many starts. Now, the second time around, that was Tuesday night, January 22nd, 1991, here at Whitehall, with the Zephyrs winning 53-45. The loss set the Vikes record at that point at 7-4 in the league and 11-5 overall. Whitehall was now 10-1 in league play and 13-4 overall. But the Zephyrs lost 3 games in a row at one point in the season, losing 2 in the Abington Holiday Tournament, and its only league loss to Peaburg followed. But tonight's a new night. Are you ready for the round ball?
Well, you have to be ready because here we are, opening night. It's hard to believe that football's over already, but, you know, we are here. And, John, you talked about Whitehall a little bit and Coach Hassler. You know, last year he was in a similar position where, you know, he wasn't expected to maybe even qualify for the tournament. He returned a team, you know, that had Tony Medina and Mike Buskirk, and Medina was injured, as everybody known. And all he did was go 17-1. And as a matter of fact, over the last 3 East Penn Conference seasons, Ron Hassler and his Zephyrs are a combined 50-4, and that is certainly outstanding. When you look at that, you know, now this year they come in, and again in that same kind of position, maybe pick to finish in the middle of the pack due to the loss of Tony Medina, Mike Buskirk, Mike Fetchko, and Greg Mulchaney. But look for Coach Hassler to come up with something. He has Pete Lisicki. He is only a sophomore. It's hard to look for leadership from a sophomore. Lisicki's a little bigger, a little bit stronger this year. We'll see what Coach Hassler can come up with.
Well, Mike, while the Zephyrs graduated 4 of last year's 5 starters, Allentown Central Catholic's Vikings graduated 3 of the 5, and they were Keith Cramsey, Mark Singer, and Jared Fry. And Jared Fry is a transfer. He's at Parkland High School. The starters from last year would be Jeff Aldinger, one of the premier backcourt men in the not only the East Penn Conference, but around the Valley, and Andy Stevens, who for the most part started the 1990-91 campaign.
Yeah, the Vikes have some good experience coming back, and certainly Aldinger will lead the way. He has early going so far this year. He's enrolled to go to Lehigh next year, so he's gotten that out of the way, and he had a great summer. Attended a lot of basketball camps and really got great reviews and great way along those lines. And he will be the leader along with Stevens. As you mentioned, Greg Spang, who is now a junior, played a lot of minutes last year. He will bring intensity defensively. Brandon Geary will start also along with Bob Miller tonight. So the Vikes certainly the more experienced team here early going, and we will see if they can use that to their advantage tonight.
Well, one of the surprises for Allentown Central Catholic is the starter Bob Miller. He's a junior, 6'4", but I don't believe that this kid was on a JV squad a year ago.
I don't recall the name. Again, we're usually working when the JV games are going on, and we don't get a chance to pay a lot of attention to that. But I don't know a lot about Bob Miller. You know, he's coming in. He's averaging 8.5 points a game in the first 2 games, and he could be a key guy for Central Catholic. You mentioned Jared Fry with the transfer. They also lost Jason McCullough, who was a highly touted 6'6" freshman a couple of years ago, and last reports that we get is that you will not see him playing basketball anymore due to some very serious knee injuries. So the inside game for Central Catholic is certainly a concern. A young man like Bob Miller at 6'3", 6'4", junior, can come in and pick up a lot of slack there and, you know, do a lot of rebounding. Maybe not have to score so many points, but just to keep the other teams honest on the boards.
Well, now Allentown Central Catholic has 2 games under its belt. They participate in the Strathaven tournament. They lost the opening round game to the eventual tournament champion Concord by 64-58 score, but then they won the 3rd spot with a 78-64 win over Sun Valley. So in the 2 ball games, the Vikings have added 136 points for an average of 68 points a ball game while holding the opposition to 64. For Whitehall, their first game of the season, they will get in their 2 tournament games during the holidays. Now, Allentown Central Catholic squad is made up this year of 3 seniors, 5 juniors, 2 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. On the other hand, Whitehall High School will have 4 seniors, 6 juniors, and 1 sophomore. Now, we won't see the Whitehall High School basketball team, I feel sure we won't, see them go out on a court. They will be introduced over the PA system, but will not be introduced to the people locally. So, Mike, you have a rundown on their starters.
Okay, for Whitehall, it will be number 20, Jeff Klock. He's a senior. He will be starting along with number 32, Pete Lasicki, the sophomore that everybody's heard about. Hasn't practiced for a week. He's had some ankle problems early. He practiced for the first time last night, so we'll see how he reacts to that. Number 40, Jamie Bretz, also a senior, will be starting along with number 44, Matt Zoke. Off the football field, he is a junior, had a fine campaign there in turning that season around for the Zephyrs. And the final starter, number 50, will be Steve Jones, also a senior.
Well, I guess out of the starting lineup that you just gave us, about the only familiar name will probably be, besides Lasicki, of course, Matt Zoke saw some of the action a year ago. For Allentown Central Catholic, well, last year, Richie Baxa, in his first year, they were 13-5 in league play, and they were 19-9 overall. And Richie Baxa's assistants, Bob Gilbert, Drew Gary, and George Burkott as the JV coach. Jim Hodrick, the principal, is here tonight, along with his assistant, Denny Ramella. For Ronnie Hassler, his 9th year, and boy, it's hard to believe how that time has rolled by. His assistants, Carl Case, the number 1 man for a long time here. Dennis Love, a former outstanding basketball and football player here at Whitehall High School, one of his assistants. And Jerry Radoka, the former East Stroudsburg University standout, is the JV coach. Mr. Dale Baker, one of the driving forces in the conference, is the principal. And Bob Krasser, the very fine and personable AD, athletic director here at Whitehall High School. The officials for tonight, we have Rod Strobel and Gary Spengler, 2 very veteran officials, and I don't know what the delay is here at this point.
There's a clock problem to our left. The numbers, the time, and I guess the score are not registering right now, so they're obviously trying to deal with that. Whether they will start the game and go with just 1 clock, I do not know. The coaches are down there with the officials right in front of the scores table right now.
In the JV game
In the JV
tonight,
game, Central Catholic prevailed 56-52 in a hard-fought game. You know, and getting back to the league now a little bit, there are a couple of changes. They will be playing a 20-game regular season schedule rather than the 18, which means now you will only have 2 teams as a swing team, which you will only play 1 time.
You know, the funny part, I asked Ron Hassler that same question. I said, would it make any difference to him? And he, typical fashion, says no. Nothing makes any difference to him.
He has never, you know, said negatives about the schedule. All he's ever said year in and year out, tell me what the schedule is, tell me what we have to do, I'll be there to play.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about him. Doesn't try to put blame on anybody or anything. Has never had any excuses, and boy, he's a winner right down the line. Our next telecast, by the way, will be 1 week from tonight. It'll be Central Catholic over at Liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. we tap this one off, it gives us a good opportunity to be able to congratulate Coach Jim Morgans and his coaching staff, and of course members of the 1991 Allentown Central Catholic High School football team on winning the Division Class 3 honors for the 1991 season. Congratulations, Jim and Viking football players. It's been a great year.
John, I know you weren't with us through the football season, but I know you followed it. And I mentioned it on the air. Central Catholic gave us the most exciting football we have seen in years, and they are certainly needed to be congratulated.
Okay, the Vikings starting lineup, number 52. That's the young man we talked about, Bob Miller. Here's Jeff Aldinger, a 6'1 senior. He wears number 34. The other starters, number 22, Brendan Gary, 6'1 senior. Number 33, Andy Stevens, a 6'2 senior. Greg Spang, a 5'9 junior. He wears number 42. For Whitehall High School, I'll give you their numbers so you can follow the team as we go along. Jeff Clark is number 20, a 5'10 senior. Jamie Brett's at number 40, a 6'2 senior. Matt Zoke is number 44, a 6-foot junior. Number 50 is Steve Jones, a 6'3 senior. Rounding out the starting five is the Fullerton Slingshot, Pete Lisicki, only a sophomore, 6'2", wears number 32, and he can fire that oval.
Okay, the clock was not taken care of. The best that I could hear from the public address announcer is that they are going to be keeping the time on down at the bench. The score I did not hear. Hopefully they will be posting the score. If not, I think what I heard them say is they will give the score periodically, so you'll have to bear with us, and we'll do the best we can. I guess it's opening night, Coach.
Yeah, it's opening night. We're looking for a picture on our monitor, which we don't have. And as Zephyr's control the opening tap. Number 42, Greg Spang, is on Jeff Clark. From the foul line, the shot is up and in by Pete Lisicki. And the slingshot fires up the deuce to put the host Zephyrs ahead 2-0.
And immediately into full court pressure. In past years, this has just been token pressure. They don't try and play for steals. They just make you work the ball a little harder up court.
Brendan Gary outside the perimeter. Gets it over to Aldinger. Spang, what a great name in basketball and golf in the Lehigh Valley for so many years. Aldinger signed a letter of intent to go to Lehigh University. Had a great summer at some of the camps he attended. Spang in the key, throws it up, off the glass, not good. Ball tapped around and picked up by Whitehall High School, Jeff Clark. And here comes Jeff. Picked up defensively by Spang.
You watch number 42 in green, Spang. He's been battling the flu a little bit, so that will be something that the Viking coaching staff will be keeping a close eye on here tonight.
Almost threw that one away, but Steve Jones picks up a deuce, and it's 4-0 very quickly for Whitehall. No scoreboard. We're going to have to watch that. Aldinger outside the perimeter. He can shoot from either side, inside, outside. He's just a good all-around athlete. He impressed Mike and I very much in his sophomore year at Central Catholic.
Well, he's closing in on 1,000 points. Needs about 140 right now. He forced that one a little bit.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's a little bit off balance.
Yep.
I think he was trying to decide to shoot and then passed off and then finally left it fly. Clock. There's a personal foul, and this one will be on Spangy. It is first personal foul in a basketball game. Charge at the Greg Spang, 5'9 junior, number 42 for Central Catholic. Zephyr's inbounds. This is Clock. Clock at the low post, gets it over to Matt Zoke, gets it over to Jones, and Jones is fouled by Bob Miller. 6'4 junior for Central Catholic. This is not a big Allentown Central Catholic basketball team overall.
Well, neither teams have much height to them, and that's where it's going to require, you're going to just have to work harder defensively, or even offensively for that matter, but more defensively. You need to play more as a team to make up for that lack of height.
All right, Jones hits his first one. That makes it 5-0 ball game. I hope if that's not a high scoring, we're going to lose track of it because the scoreboard is not working. Jones missed the second, so he converts one out of two, and the Vikes get the ball. Look out, Spangy loses it, and he's tied up. Tied up, who gets the arrow? Central Catholic.
Well, the Vikes will maintain possession. I mentioned at the top how there were some questions that needed to be answered tonight. The Vikes in particular, in their first two games, they averaged 22 turnovers a game. You're not going to win a lot of games in the East Penn Conference with that kind of a stat. Let's look for them to try and work and trying to protect the basketball.
Bang into Stevens. Andy on the right side. Ollinger, baseline up high, not good. Rebounded by the Zephyrs. Checking off is Pete Lisicki. Gets it back to Jeff Clark, the 5'10" senior backcourt man. Into Jamie Bretz. Bretz is also a senior. Here's Lisicki. Boy, he can let him fly. What a great basketball player. What a great future this kid has. From the foul line, Zoe pops it, not good. Rebounded. Followed up by the Zephyrs. Look out!
I'll tell you what.
Jump ball. That's the first time I have ever seen that.
It must be opening night. That's all I can say.
Well, that ball did not move either way. And remember, it was not jammed up there.
Right.
It just laid there
right.
on support.
I've seen them wedged between the rim and the banking board, but never one die right on the top of the rim like that.
There's a turnover. Jeff Clark moving his pivot foot. Still trying to get a picture on our monitor.
That's our first turnover of the night. We're pretty well played here early going.
It's 5-0, Whitehall leading Central Catholic. No time. Clock is not working. It worked beautifully for the JV game. There's a turnover. Matt Zoke down the alley, up and in. 7-0, Central Catholic, and the Vikings want a timeout early. And listen to the Whitehall fans.
Well, and Whitehall is they're playing their game. I'm sure Coach Hassler has to be real happy with their start here. They're in that 1-3-1 matchup zone. They're doing a real good job, and they're creating problems from Central Catholic. All right, I believe on your screen you're watching the steal here. This is just good defense, and you turn it into 2 points then in transition. And Whitehall doing a good job in that matchup early. They get into transition and shooting well from the field.
Well, it looks like they came out with some temporary equipment to get the scoreboard working. Bob Kratzer is a very fine AD, and he's down there. And I believe before too long we might get some action there.
Well, we have numbers on the board, and that's certainly a start. They're not the same on both boards, but there's numbers on both of them.
We have 3:33 on a time clock on one and nothing on the other. Gary is looking. He's taking a breather. Gary's using his ingenuity to get us a picture here. Any kind. Seven to nothing ball game. Pete Lisicki with a field goal. Matt Zoke with one, and Steve Jones with one. And Jones 1 out of 2 from the foul line. There's another turnover for the Vikes. Lisicki from the foul line picks up his second field goal. And it's 9-0.
What a great touch on that jumper, and the trajectory of it, just a nice arc. You must keep him off his spots, or you're going to be in big trouble before the night's over.
And that clock I gave you, 3:33, isn't moving, so that was not the time at that point. Stevens was fouled. First a foul against Steve Jones of Whitehall. First personal foul against the Zephyrs. Allentown Central Catholic charged with 2 so far in the ball game.
One of the rule changes this year, John, and you keep those team fouls. You do not shoot the one-on-one until 7 team fouls this year. That's got to favor Whitehall a little bit, who always does a good job to begin with.
All right, Bob Miller, the 6'4 junior, puts the Vikes on the board. They pick up their first, and we have our first picture, and we have a turnover. 4 minutes is the public address announcer just reported. And here we go. Now we're ready for the ball. Andy Stevens, no. Rebounded by the Zephyrs, Steve Jones. Jones gets it over to Jeff Clark. Clark working deliberately over the 10-second line. Guarded very closely by Spangy. Gets it over to Lisicki. Fullerton slingshot moves inside the perimeter. Stops. Guarded closely by Gary. Traveling call against Whitehall. So the Zephyrs now with their second turnover.
A little bit better job defensively by Central Catholic. Spang setting the tone out in front with a little bit more intensity. Forces the Zephyr turnover. Both teams now with 2 on the evening.
Okay, and 14-13. There's Ollinger. And Jeff pulls the string and lets a left-handed shot go for 2.
Well, one of the things that scoring does for Central Catholic, as you see them pick up now full court man-to-man, they want to try and apply some pressure. You mentioned, John, they're not real tall, so they're going to have to go full court pressure. But if you don't score, you don't get an opportunity to set that up.
All right. Lisicki looks, gets it over the clock, goes one up. Not good. And out of bounds, and the Vikings have it. They trail, and the clock is working. Not the clock, the scoreboard. We'll get to the clock. It's 9-4. Whitehall leading Central Catholic. We're in the tail end of the first quarter play here at Whitehall High School. Spangy over to Aldinger. Jeff underneath. Andy Stevens. Stevens throws it up. Not good. And there's a whistle and there's a foul as Stevens is caught going over the top. Andy, the 6'2 senior. Chargers first personal foul and the team third.
See it so many times. You try and hustle back after a miss or whatever, and Andy just trying to create something underneath gets called for the foul.
Yeah, that's a tough foul. It's a tough foul. Sometimes you can't stop the momentum, and you have to be charged because the book says the contact over the top is a foul. Sometimes some of the older officials will let that go as long as there's a shot underneath. Not good. Now, there could have been contact, not called. And Gary let that one go. Ball is kicked. Central Catholic will get it. That's like pro football. I wish they'd do something with that rule about kickoff and return. There's always a yellow flag on the field. Sometimes a player is 10 feet or 10 yards away from play. Stevens gets up for the shot. Not good. Rebounded by Jones of the Zephyrs. And he almost throw it away, but saved.
Vikes do not take advantage of a good opportunity inside. They had a couple of good shots inside, unable to convert.
They were hurrying the shots, Mike. Zoke, no, turnover. Jones, bingo! Steve Jones with his second field goal and 5th point of the night. Makes it an 11-4 ball game. Whitehall.
Well, that's one of the things that'll drive you crazy as a coach. Your defense comes up with a big block. Now you try and turn and get into transition. You turn it over and you give up an easy 2 points after playing real good defense.
Now Stevens got it, and he was fouled by Matt Zoke. Matt's first personal foul. Stevens' first field goal, and he'll go to the charity stripe.
Well, one of the few times that Central has been able to break down that Whitehall zone, or that matchup zone. Excellent pass inside. You saw the contact. Stevens' first trip to the free throw line.
And I don't like to see Stevens taking that ball. Should have went right up with the shot instead of hitting the floor. But he got it, got away with it, and got the field goal, and converted the foul, and picks up his 3rd point. And we have an 11-7 ball game. So all of a sudden, the Vikings, down bad at 1 point in the first quarter, are back in contention in this ball game.
Well, it was a matter of just getting comfortable offensively and start doing the things they know they're capable of.
Oh, beautiful work passing that ball around. Lisicki for 3, and he has it. Crystal Pete has a 3-pointer. A bullseye. And boy, that made it 2-1 in a hurry. 14-7. 57 seconds. Stevens in a feint, gets it underneath. The shot is up. The shot is not good. Rebound followed up by Gary. Not good. Rebound by the Vikings. Gary has it. Brendan gets it over to Aldinger for a 3-pointer. 14-10.
That's good hustle by Central Catholic there. They missed a couple of some close ones inside. But persistence kept them possession of the basketball until they got it to Aldinger, who drained a 3-pointer.
Boy, I love that 3-point, don't you?
Oh, that's exciting. You know, this year, if you foul them out there, too, you get 3 free throws. So a couple of rule changes in the high school level. They did that in college last year, but not in high school. If you foul somebody out there and the basket doesn't go, they're going to get 3 free throws.
Jones turns around, hooks it up, not good. Rebounded by the Vikings, but they lose it. Shot is up, it's not good. That's the end of the first quarter. It is Whitehall 14, Allentown Central Catholic 10.
What are you doing here at ABE Car Care Center? Well, I'm going to get a new muffler and a state inspection. Boy, these guys do good work, and they don't charge nearly as much as some of these other guys do.
Well, it's about time you realize that. You're such a winner, Fitz, and besides that, you're cheap.
What do you mean, cheap?
Well, I heard you got short arms and deep pockets.
Well, the way that you fill out those pants, you can't even get your hands in your pockets.
Car Care Plus at ABE Car Care Centers.
Hey, everything is go. Take a good look. Clock is working. Scoreboard is working. We're working. It's 14-10. Whitehall. Hey, ask me what I would do if I were on a rules committee of the NCAA.
All right, what would you do if you were on the rules committee of the NCAA?
I'm glad you asked. The first thing I would do is take the headset off the head coaches. The next thing I would do is outlaw the high fives. That drives me nuts. And there's Ron Hassler. And another thing I would do on the collegiate professional level is every time the official drops a flag, they have to have a meeting. Why must they have a meeting? If you drop the flag, it should be your call.
Yeah. Well, I think instant replay has dictated that, that they got to keep conferring now anymore. And, well, they have ruined a lot of good football games.
Oh, crazy.
It's a shame.
Crazy. That's why I don't like to see too many changes funnel down to scholastic sports. Let them play the game that they're playing in now. The rules, the changes, several that they have made, I think, are good for the game.
Yeah. Okay, a little confusion here. Tim Cranzy was out on the floor. I don't believe he checked in at the scorer's table, though. And so they will have to go back to their original five. And now Cranzy, I believe, will just sit in front of the scorer's table and at the first dead ball be allowed into the basketball game.
All right, Andy Stevens will work it inbounds for Roundtown Central Catholic. And now Gary Sprinkler comes over to the scorer's table.
Yep.
It's Beidelman is down there on the scorer's table. He's the Zephyr's official scorer. I caught him out on the links a couple times this year.
A couple bonus days lately with this warm weather we've been
supposed to play tomorrow. Okay, Gary Stevens. Oh, to Miller. They knocked out of bounds, but they give it to Central Catholic. Now we have a change to the right. Tim Cranzy, the 6'2 sophomore. This is the young quarterback.
And what a fine quarterback. He will get a lot of votes when it comes to picking the player of the year as far as the quarterback. Outstanding.
I predict he's going to be first team, East Penn.
I agree with that. We certainly don't get a chance to vote. The coaches do that. But I agree with that. This young man just did an outstanding job of running that wing tee, that Delaware wing tee, with very few mistakes.
Stevens, no. Jones rebounds for Whitehall.
Shooting percentages first quarter, the Vikes were 4 of 13 for 31%. Whitehall was 5 of 11 for 45%. Both teams committed 3 turnovers.
Joe Butcher in the lineup for Whitehall. Zoke with the shot, not good. Jones, yes. Steve Jones has his 3rd field goal and his 7-point. He's big. He looks bigger than 6'3". Shot is up, not good by Stevens. Rebounded by Zephyr. Zephyrs are controlling the board.
Well, he certainly looked bigger than 6'3" on that rebound right there. Good, strong, aggressive board, and he's picked up some good garbage points inside. There's always 10, 12, 14 points for a guy who can leap with his ability under there on the offensive boards.
Oh, look at this. Oh. 9 points for Jones.
Outstanding assist by number 44, Matt Zoke. A no-look pass froze the defense a little bit, and Jones was all alone underneath.
Aldinger fakes right, goes left. Tries to get in the corner. It's turned over. Loose ball is picked up by Jeff Flock. Zephyr's controlling the board. Zephyr's controlling the play, the tempo of the game. Clock not good. Poor shot. Rebound. The ball not got him out. There's a whistle, and there's a foul.
Now,
Let's see who this is going to be on.
You do not see Zephyr, Coach Hassler, coach teams make that, shoot the ball that quickly and attack the zone that quick. You'll see they're off the loose rebound now. There's going to be a personal foul.
It's going to be on Jones. That'll be his 2nd. All right, here come the Vikings. They trail 18-10. Spang. Inner corner to Aldinger, back to Spang. Stevens inside the foul line. Aldinger for three, up high, bullseye. Aldinger pops up his second three-pointer. And his third field goal of the night, and it's 18-13.
Well, Aldinger was struggling a little bit from out there in the first two games. He was only 1 of 10, and he has all of Central Catholic's three-pointers on the year now with 2 tonight.
Joe Botcher picks up his first deuce on a nice play. Hey, Marciniak is off to a great start.
How about it? Record already as a freshman at Notre Dame University. That's fantastic. 33 points she scored the other night.
I think Aldinger's going to have to start taking some of those shots, Mike. He got that assist in there underneath the basket, but it was in traffic, and he could have went up for the shot from about 8 feet out.
Yeah, it's difficult to penetrate against this Whitehall matchup zone. It has been year in and year out. When it's played properly, you're not going to get much by that. You got to do the last possession. They went inside out with the passing, and that freedom for the jumper. That would be better off for Central Catholic.
Well, it's nice to pass the ball around, but sometimes you can go one pass too often. Ramsey. Whistle. Aldinger is fouled. And a foul will be on Lisicki. That'll be Pete's first.
Pete's pleading his case here. I don't know. I thought I saw him. No, he didn't do it. The first guy out in front was the first contact, and Pete got called for it. He was right. Okay.
Let them ask us for slow-mo replay on it.
That's exactly right. Actually, the contact was made first by Clark, who actually took the legs out, and then Lisicki came in, and he was right.
Ramsey off the glass. Not good. Missed the peeper. And ball rebounded by Clark. Clark's only 5'10", but they got a number of rebounds here tonight. 20-13, in case you just joined us. It's Whitehall leading Allentown Central Catholic. 4 minutes and 53 seconds remaining here in the first half. Bang with the ball for the Vikes up over the timeline. Bang gets clobbered underneath. Franzi goes up. He gets it, and he is fouled. Tim Franzi, 6'2", sophomore, takes up his first deuce, and he's fouled by Steve Jones, and unofficially that'll be his third.
Well, I believe number 50 in green and gold is going to be a real key for the Vikes this year, as he was football. You see the excellent effort there. After the first 2 games, and really not with the full benefit of practice, he's the team's leading rebounder, and I think that's really a concern for the Vikes. He could be one of those players to come in, once he gets those basketball legs, to come in and fill that void.
Who was that, Mike? I missed that.
Ramsey.
Oh, okay. You know, another kid that I kind of like for Central is that Batzinger. Here's a foul on Spangy.
You'll see Greg trying to deny over along the way. Maybe gets there a little bit late. He's not particularly happy about the call, but it goes against him.
See, now with Fatzinger there, the Vikes have some height, too.
Well, and again, Fatzinger, one of the football players, and what a great job he did at tight end. It's going to take these guys a little while to get rid of those football muscles and get used to getting indoors and playing some basketball.
And he looked pretty good in spot plays that we saw him a year ago.
Well, you know what, John? He's trimmed down. I think he's gotten rid of some of that baby fat, and he looks much more like an athlete, and he's moving a whole lot better.
Clock comes up with another rebound. Boy, who could ever remember the great nights here with Buskirk, and how about the three amigos? Oh.
Gronkowski, Klutcherich, and Buskirk. Yeah. They gave us a lot of thrills. I know that.
They sure did.
That was a great group of guys. You know, and I mentioned to Coach Hassler, I said it looked to me like he's got a lot of guys. Let's take a look at the replay here. Now you'll see Whitehall penetration there. Foul going to go against Brendan Geary there inside. But I mentioned to him now how he has a couple of young guys in the JV team that remind me a little bit of Buskirk. He says, well, if one of them turns out to be like him, I'll be real happy.
What a great competitor.
Yep, real leader. I mean, you think about what that team accomplished last year, going 17-1 through this league. And, I mean, they played 5 people. Once in a while, they got 6 deep in the bench, but it was an iron 5, and they were very disciplined.
Well, here comes a typical Zephyr player in the lineup, Matt Leschko, 6'7" junior, as Jeff Klott picks up his first point of the night. 21-16. There's a steal. Clock again in the middle of the action. Lisicki makes his move for the bucket, but there's a whistle, and there's a foul, and this will be on Aldinger.
Well, off the turnover, Whitehall is able to get Central Catholic scrambling a little bit. And you see they run at Lisicki. Little head and shoulder fake gets them out of position. A reach-in foul called on Aldinger.
All right. Inbounds pass to the Zephyrs. Clock. Over to Zolt from the deep corner. Not good. Ball batted around out of bounds and awarded to Central Catholic. Aldinger. Little stutter step dribble of his. Guarded by Zolt. He gets around him. Gets the ball over to Geary. Back to Aldinger. Jeff outside the perimeter, about 30 feet out. Edges in a little bit closer, gets it back to Geary. 3:15 and running remaining in a first half, 21-16. Fatzinger loses it, but the ball is picked up. Shot is up there by Central Catholic High School, not good. Look out.
That's some good hard play inside. You get a look at number 53, the tight end and defensive end on a football team, but good hard play inside, good physical. Officials on top of the game. Turnover against Central Catholic.
That was just a running foul. There's Zolt. Foul by Aldinger, and that'll be his second. 21-16, Whitehall. Zephyr's first game of the 1991-92 campaign. For Central Catholic, game number 3 of the infant season.
Okay, and again, you are not looking at the clock, but that is the 7th team foul against Central Catholic. So now Whitehall in the bonus will start with a 1-and-1. In years past, that all started with the 5th team foul. So that'll be new this year, and hopefully we'll keep reminding you of that so that you look for teams shooting free throws. I think that's something that might help Whitehall. I mean, they play that disciplined defense to begin with, and they were only putting teams on the line 2 and 3 times a game. Now they have 2 more team fouls to work with.
Well, Zolt Clock missed his first attempt tonight, now hit his last 3. Boy, he's a young-looking kid for a senior, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
See that close-up on the foul line? Looks like he doesn't shave yet. Aldinger. Baseline, Stevens. Andy has it. Second field goal for Stevens. 23-18. Whitehall by 5.
Nice little fall away by Stevens to get himself a little bit more room. Kind of ducked in and then dropped back, and nice arch on that shot.
Lisicki, guarded by Geary, throws it up. No. Rebounded by Fatzinger. Robert, a 6'4 junior. Here's Aldinger. Picked up defensively by Clock. Stevens. Out to Gary. Brendan is a senior. His dad is one of the assistant coaches. Deep corner. No. Boy, that was close. Fatzinger gets it. Hooks it up. Not good. Boy, that was in and out. And Whitehall will get the ball.
Now, that is a tough break for Fatzinger. Good aggressiveness on the boards. Only a junior. Real good aggressiveness. Just didn't get a good roll around that rim. They'll start to drop for him before the year's over.
Yeah, that thing was down inside the cylinder.
Yep.
All right, 1:35 of running remaining. 23-18. Whitehall, look out. No. And a foul. This one will be against the Zephyrs. And it'll be against Matt Leshko, the 6'7 junior, who came into the ball game replacing Steve Jones for Whitehall.
Well, fouls now beginning to be a problem in the middle for Whitehall. The key to that 1-3-1 matchup zone is the man in the middle. Jones is on the bench already with 3, and now Leshko picks up 1. Going to be important to keep one of those 2 guys in the game throughout the night.
Central Catholic 13-5 in the league last year, 19-9 overall. Aldinger, no. Tap up by Cramsey, not good. Rebounded by Botcher of the Zephyrs.
No, Aldinger did a smart thing. He went right at Leshko there and just didn't draw any contact to draw the personal foul.
So here's Clock. Lisicki. Leshko. Clock. Oh, look, beautiful lead pass at time. Shot is up, not good, and a foul.
Well, that's real good communication. Brendan Geary, number 22, is man for man on Lisicki and overplaying him, and that's just good communication from out in front. Now watch, number 20, Clock. You go back door when that happens. The Zephyr or Central Catholic does not get over there quick enough to help out, and when they do, they commit the personal foul.
All right, Fatzinger charged with his first personal foul, and a Fullerton slingshot. Pete Lisicki on a foul line for the first time tonight.
You won't see that happen too many times.
No, he had 3 field goals, one of them a three-pointer.
Interesting. He's grown a little bit, and he's also gotten a little stronger. I mean, when you see that on the screen, you think, my God, he's stronger. But last year, he was almost rail thin. But he did put on some weight. And again, only a sophomore. And his whole family, his brothers, were big, muscular guys. So you got to believe that Pete is one day going to fill out and really become a force.
All right, 24-18, Whitehall, 20 seconds and counting remaining here in the first half. And the Vice going to go for the last shot.
For the rest of you people in the East Penn Conference, there are 2 more Lisickis, by the way, which are freshmen on the Whitehall program. So there's a ton of them. There's 8 of them all together, and I believe that might be the end. I'm not sure.
Ramsey, no, missed it, and that is the end of the first half. Whitehall, 24, Allentown Central Catholic, 18. Once again, everybody, I'm Johnny Dady, along with Mike Zambelli. Here we are at the halftime break at Whitehall High School. At the end of the first quarter, Whitehall outscored Allentown Central Catholic 14-10, and they outscored the Vikings in the second quarter 10-8 to take a 24-18 lead here at the halftime break. Steve Jones was the high scorer for Whitehall in the first half with 4 field goals and 1 out of 2 fouls. Jeff Clark, 3 out of 4 from the foul line for 3 points. Pete Lisicki, 3 field goals, 1 of them a three-pointer, 1 out of 2 from the foul line for 8. Bill Botcher, a field goal for 2. Matt Zook, a field goal for 2. The line for Whitehall, 9 field goals, 1 three-pointer, 5 out of 8 from the foul line for their 24, 6 personal fouls. High score for Central in the first half. Jeff Aldinger, 3 field goals, 2 of them three-pointers. We have Brendan Gary scoreless. Andy Stevens, 2 field goals and a foul for 5. Tim Cramsey, a field goal and a foul for 3. Bob Miller, field goal for 2. Second half is underway. In the first half, the Vikes had 7 field goals, 2 three-pointers, 2 out of 2 fouls for 18 with 8 personal fouls. Spangy outside the perimeter. Gets it to Andy Stevens, makes a good move. A fake pump, throws it up and in. Andy Stevens with his 3rd field goal.
Well, look for the Vikes to do a whole lot more of that in the second half. Jones, with those 3 personal fouls, becomes a sitting duck in the middle. He's going to have to put up a little bit more resistance than that.
And Jones is back in the lineup for the Zephyrs. There's Lisicki outside the key. Just had an opportunity and a pleasure to meet his dad. Jones shot not good. Rebounded by Central Catholic. Brendan Gary gets it over to Spang. Greg along the baseline to Stevens. Stevens back out to Spang. Spang underneath. Oh, good double fake pump. The shot not good. Missed by Cramsey, and that was a peeper. Ball knocked out of bounds. Central Catholic will get it.
Real good look inside by Spang. Cramsey just unable to convert. Now Cramsey starting here in the second half.
Inbounds pass. Spang. Oh, good pass, but it was intercepted by Matt Zook of the Zephyrs. Thrown into a little bit of traffic, but it looked like a Dan Marino pass for a moment.
Yeah, it was a good thought. I think it's a little bit long for a bounce pass, though. The floor took a little bit too much off it. Just didn't have enough steam to get there.
Oh, that was pushing off but not called. As Matt Zook going for the ball with his right hand, pushed off with the left hand. Gary Spengler was screened out of play, didn't make the call. The Zephyrs have the ball.
Shooting percentages in the first half. Central was 7 of 25 for 28%. Whitehall was 9 of 21 for 42%. From the free throw line, Central Catholic perfect, 2 for 2, 100%. Whitehall was 5 of 8 for 62%.
This Pete Lisicki is not only a crackerjack basketball player, but I understand he's president of the sophomore class. Jones.
Yes, he is.
Goes around a couple times, not good. Zook follows it up and in. Matt Zook with his 2nd field goal.
Academically ranked number 1 in his class, also back to Lisicki. So just an all-around fine young man.
Now, how can you be a good basketball player and be tops in your class?
Well,
You'll have to study some kids.
There he is out there.
Oh, look at this. Stevens goes up for the shot and misses it. Boy, the Vikes missed about 4 peepers. Stevens goes up for the follow-up, and he is fouled.
Well, they really are battling themselves inside. They've missed a couple like that in the first half. Brandon Geary makes an excellent decision off that save to get it to one of his teammates, but the Vikes are again unable to convert.
Jeff Clark charged with his first personal foul. Substitution, Jamie Bretz makes his first appearance of the night, replacing Joe Botcher for Whitehall. On the free throw line, Andy Stevens had 1 attempt, hit it. He is now 2 for 2. Picks up his 6th point of the night.
After 2 games of the season, Andy's averaging 12 points a game. He was 8 for 11 from the free throw line coming into tonight for 73%.
And we have a 26-22 ball game. Whitehall by just 4 with 5:40 remaining here in the 3rd period, and the clock is running. Clock guarded very closely by Spang. On a give and go, there's a steal. It is 3-on-2. Aldinger gets it underneath, knocked down out of bounds and lost off the fingertips of Stevens.
Well, the Vikes are unable to convert, but that was great anticipation and good weak side help by Andy Stevens to come up with the steal off the back door. But in the Vikes transition, they turn it over again. Number 3 here of the half. Turnovers, by the way, in the first half. Central Catholic 7, Whitehall 3. Central Catholic now with 10 on the night.
Jones got it. Jones at a double fake pump that time, spun around a 360 degree, and then popped it up and in for his 5th field goal of the night.
You know, Jones has played real big inside. He has not tried to get too fancy. He's just taken what is given to him, and as a result was the team's leading scorer in that first half.
Stevens for 3 from the deep baseline. So Andy picks up his 4th field goal, and it is 28-25. Whitehall by 3 with 4:40 remaining here in the 3rd period.
Boy, those 3-pointers make up ground in a hurry.
I'm telling you, they do one. They turn the game around completely.
Sure do. That's Stevens' first of the year.
Look out. Ramsey gets the rebound again, 2 in a row. Clear the boards to give the Vikes possession. Gary, deep corner. Stevens comes out of it. Gets it out to Aldinger. Aldinger had a notion to go for 3. Spangy. Was that Spangy? No, that was Gary. Gary, okay. Lisicki, all alone, now looks for help. Goes for 3 up high. Bullseye. Lisicki has 4 field goals. 2 of them are 3-pointers. And very quickly, the Zephyrs go up by 6.
Well, Lisicki just lulled the defense to sleep there. Looked like he was going to pull up.
Aldinger tries for 3, not good. Hit the brace up above, and the Zephyrs, leading by 6, have the ball backcourt. Inbounds to clock. Clock moves pretty well.
Yeah, when it's turned on and working.
Not that one, the one on the floor. Nice underhand shuffle. Look out, Jones. He's fouled. Fouled by Tim Cramsey. That'll be Cramsey's first personal foul. And Jones, 1 out of 2 from the foul line. Let's take a look.
Well, I'm impressed with Jones here early, John. You know, he gives a nice compliment to Lisicki outside, and that's what the Zephyrs are looking for. I mentioned he's played within himself. He's hung around the basket, shows great leaping ability.
His body on him, look at the legs on him. You know, he can muscle you underneath that board. That's a nice height on that one. He's 2 out of 3 from the foul line to go along with his 5 field goals, 32-25 Whitehall. 3-3-3 remaining here in the 3rd period.
Well,
Ramsey comes out of the lineup, and Bob Fassinger replaces him.
Not only offensively for Jones, but I talked about that 1-3-1 match zone at the Whitehall place. That middleman is a real key, and certainly Jones is the guy who's been in there. He needs to play consistently inside.
Stevens for 3, has it. Andy has 5 field goals, 2 out of the 5 are 3-pointers. So he has 2, 4, 6, 12. He has 15 points. He had 5 in the first half, got 10 here in the opening minutes of this 3rd period. Almost a steal by Aldinger, but they get the ball out to Matt Zoke. Zoke hooks around the perimeter, being chased by Aldinger. Aldinger dogging him, gets the pass over to Brett. Brett's back out to Clock. There's a turnover. There's a pass down to Spang. Spang over Stevens. Yes! Forget about it. Offensive foul. Yeah, let's look at it.
Jamie Bretz, watch number 40, turn, and gets his feet planted. That's a heck of a job hustling back defensively. Negate the 2. Nice hustle by Bretz.
That's a shame. Great play like that. A good call. I'm not questioning the call. I'm just saying, too bad when you lose one like that.
Yeah, it sure is, because Central Catholic now really turning it up a notch defensively.
Aldinger for his 4th field goal. 32-31. The Vikes are down by just 1.
Well,
they were down 6 at the halftime break.
You know, I know they've converted on a lot of long-range three-pointers, but it's the defense that has turned things around now, forcing some turnovers. Whitehall has committed 3 here in this 3rd quarter that have led to Central Catholic scores.
Well, see, that's where this inexperience will come, and Aldinger is charged with his 3rd personal foul, blocking.
Well, you got to play defense with your feet. You have to move your feet. You can't be reaching in. You can't let the bodies touch. And you can see that Aldinger just gets a step behind there, and that's why the call goes against him.
So, out the clock. Clock of 5:10 senior. Jamie Bretz guarded closely by Stevens.
Well, he's looking for Jones inside.
Finds Zoke. Zoke pass intended for Jones. He has it. Jones is slapped out of his hand and picked up by Aldinger of Central Catholic, and now Jeff slows things down.
Another turnover forced by the defense. That's like 3 or 4 in the last 3 or 4 possessions by Whitehall.
That's where this inexperience starts showing up. That's a bad shot by Spang. Try to go over 4 white jerseys that time, with nobody on the weak side covering, and the Zephyrs come up with the rebound. Lisicky, clock 32-31 Whitehall, 1:10 remaining in the 3rd period and running. Full house here at Whitehall High School. Our thanks to Bob Crasser, the athletic director, for all of his help in making this telecast possible, and of course the head coach, Ron Hassler. Look out, look out, look out. They steal it, but Gary stepped on the baseline.
Well, a nice help defensively by the green and gold. That play was open. There was some movement, good movement by Whitehall, but good defensive adjustments and help from the weak side.
Look out. Shot is up. Not good. Rebounded by Andy Stevens of the Vikes. Gets it over to Greg Spang, the 5'9" junior, working deliberately up over the timeline with 35 seconds remaining and running. Aldinger. Andy Stevens. Stevens or Aldinger could go for the bullseye. Spang, 25 seconds and ticking.
Well, you mentioned Stevens. He's a real key for the Vikes this year also.
Yeah.
He's a guy who can play forward, he can play guard, he can play point guard. So he's a real good utility man, and as you can see here in this 3rd quarter, has lit it up from that 3-point line.
There's Stevens, a fadeaway. No, not good. Ball tapped right into the hands of Fassinger. Fassinger to Stevens. Bingo! Stevens gets it. 6th field goal, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And Allentown Central Catholic goes ahead for the first time in a basketball game, 33-32.
Let's go get Yako. You know it's always been the best. Let's go get Yako for quality that beats the rest. They got cheesesteaks, French fries. The famous Yako hot dog is known worldwide. Let's go get Yako. The secret sauce is one of a kind.
Yako's, an Allentown tradition.
What are we doing here at ABE Car Care Center?
By getting the machine inspected, the sticker runs out tomorrow.
You always wait till the last minute.
Oh, stop your moaning. Besides, I got to get the brakes checked. It hasn't been stopping so good lately.
I wish I could get you to stop.
Get me to stop what?
Stop eating.
Don't bug me. I got enough confidence in me for the both of us.
You've got enough everything in you for the both of us.
Car Care Plus at ABE Car Care Centers.
C.J. Wagner, trophies, plaques, and bowling supplies. Serving northeastern Pennsylvania with award-winning community programming, this is Service Electric Cable TV Super 2.
We're back here at Whitehall High School. Johnny Dady and Mike Zambelli, and we're going to have to get Richie Bax a carnation or something. He's pulling a Digger Phelps. Digger Phelps is not there anymore, Richie. Watch that. The coaches get together, and then after they have a little discussion, then they get to the team.
Okay, third quarter stats. The Vikes 5 of 12 shooting, 42%. Whitehall 3 of 8 for 38%. But I think the real key is the better job defensively by Central Catholic, forcing some turnovers. The Vikes committed 3, but they forced 4. Whitehall committed 4 to bring game total Central Catholic 10 turnovers, Whitehall 7.
All right, Central Catholic outscored Whitehall 15-8 in that third period to take that 33-32 lead. That assault led by Andy Stevens, who had 4 field goals, 2 of them three-pointers, and 2 out of 2 fouls. Fourth quarter underway. Jeff Clark with the ball for the Zephyrs. Gets it over to Jamie Brett. Brett to Matt Zoke. Here's Clark in the corner. Jones makes his move. No. Rebounded by Fatzinger. Fatzinger really got himself in position that time for the rebound. Gary, Fang, Aldinger. Why was Aldinger trailing the play like that? He wasn't hurt, was he?
No, I didn't see him. I didn't pick him up on that one. Seems to be all right.
Yeah, he seems to be, but he's trailing there. I was just wondering if he slipped, turned an ankle, or whatever. Stevens. Spang. Fourth quarter from Whitehall. Our next telecast will be 1 week from tonight, Tuesday night, and that'll be Allentown Central Catholic at Liberty. We will not have a game Friday night. Our technical equipment will be out of town. Spang down the lane, got it, but fouled before the shot.
Boy, what a difference Central Catholic looks like now offensively. This is their first lead of the night, as you mentioned, John. And now they're showing more poise, a little bit more character, and a lot more patience. You see the foul drawn there as Spang tried to penetrate. The foul will go against number 20, Jeff Clark.
And that's Jeff's second personal foul. Aldinger to Stevens. Spang, Fatzinger gets it back out to Gary. Spangy inside the perimeter. There's Aldinger. Jeff for 3. No. Fatzinger pounding the board. But Jones comes up with the rebound for Whitehall. Zephyrs with an opportunity to go ahead. They trail 33-32. 6:25 remaining here in this ball game. Lisicki, pistol feet has it. His 5th field goal of the night. And Whitehall goes ahead 34-33.
Well, he's only a sophomore, but the Zephyrs are going to need his leadership on plays just like that.
And this is just about the kind of a game that we anticipated. Early moments it looked like a Whitehall runaway, but it turned out to be a typical Whitehall Central Catholic game. Aldinger, button hooks, comes out of the corner traffic, gets it over to Gary. Back to Aldinger, and Jeff wants a timeout. You know that this is only the second time on the ball game. We had 1 in each half. Whitehall leading 34-33.
Okay, let's take a look now at the last score by Lisicki. Does a nice job. Look at him using his left hand, and that's the key there. You can see he's a right-handed shooter. You must be able to go both ways if you're going to be effective and to pull up on a jumper. And boy, I'll tell you, doesn't that remind you a lot of Billy McCaffrey from a couple of years ago, pulling up dead on that jumper and showing a great touch?
I wonder how many times Billy McCaffrey sits in his room and says, did I make the right move? You know, he has to sit it out this year. He'll be a senior next year.
Yeah.
And here his team is #1 in the nation again, and then a strong #1.
Well,
they're not just sitting there.
No, they're a better basketball team than they were last year, in my mind.
Yes.
You know, no doubt about it. And but a young man made a decision. We all know Billy, and always been a smart young man, and knows what he wanted, and wanted more playing time, and that's why he did it. But like you said, you wonder how many times that thought will go through his mind.
All right, back to the action here at Whitehall. Allentown Central Catholic with possession. Brendan Gary, the 6'1 senior, will inbounds. And he does to Spang. Greg Spang, 5'9 junior. Gary, Allinger. Jeff comes out of some traffic. Bang, Gary, bang.
Pace definitely favoring Whitehall when they get you into this half court here. Central Catholic showing good patience, but they much prefer to get out and break a little bit and score on transition.
Waiting for somebody to make a move. There goes Spang, no. Rebound, Fatzinger, no. Ball tipped and out of bounds and will be awarded to Central Catholic. Now they change. Now they're giving it to Zephyr, and this is the way it should be.
Well, yeah, that's right. He called White, but pointed in the wrong direction, but the call verbally was the right one, and they corrected it.
All right.
Two excellent officials tonight in Rod Strobel and Gary Spengler.
Ooh. Almost a walk that time as Lisicky tried to change his pivot foot from the foul line, throws it up and in. Great shot. 36-33, Whitehall. 4:45 remaining in the ball game. Geary gives it to Stevens. Stevens throws it up and in. Stevens having a great night. That's his 7th field goal. 36-35. Whitehall by 1.
Well, he really is able to gather up a tough pass there and then control his body and then show a good touch inside in the paint.
Clock. Saved by Clock. So Jones gets it. Whistle. And there's going to be a foul on Spang.
Well, and Jones is looking over to the bench, and I know exactly what they're saying. What great hustle by Jones there, but why dribble it? Go right up with it with the big man, and he looks over, and you know Jerry Radoke is telling him, just go right up with it with both hands and draw the foul. He'll learn that.
Especially when Spang is guarded.
That's right.
Spang is 5'9".
That's right.
Okay, here's Jones. He has 2 out of 4 from the foul line to go along with 5 field goals, so he's having a pretty good night. 36-35, the Zephyrs by 1. We're midway through the fourth quarter of this ball game.
Well, it might be the first season game or league game of the night for both these clubs, but they're down into crunch time, and they're going to learn a lot about themselves early right now.
You know, you talk, coaches are a rare breed. You talk to some of them, they say, well, I'd rather start out this way because start out with the best. But then you take to the other guy, who I think is honest with you, and they'll say, give me a couple of feeders.
Wants to build a little momentum into the big game and a little confidence, and I tend to agree with that. You know, why would you want to throw yourselves wide into the wolves? You look at the college football coaches. None of them want to play in that fall classic or whatever they call it, because they don't want to go out. They want to build a little momentum and confidence. Confidence is such an important factor. Now, if you go up against the best in the first game, get a little of that confidence knocked out of you, now you might be in trouble for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they play nothing because they're committed.
Yeah.
They have to. Zephyrs turn it over. Central Catholic trailing 36-35 with an opportunity to go ahead. Lead pass. Oops, the Vikes turn it over. And now Whitehall with an opportunity to add a couple more. They lead by 1 with 3:22 remaining in regulation.
Well, both teams now showing a little inexperience kicking the ball around. Back-to-back turnovers, not getting anything established offensively.
We have to remember, good shot by Matt Zoke, his 3rd field goal. 2 of the 3 picked up here in the second half, 38-35. You have to remember that Central Catholic, they turn it over. They only have 2 starters back from last year, and Stevens and Aldinger. Whitehall just won in Pete Lisicky.
Well, they're learning real quick. Nice job by the Zephs of coming out in that full court press, but applying more pressure to force yet another Viking turnover. Now that is number 13 on the night. Keep in mind, I did tell you that they're averaging 22.5 a game in their first 2 games coming in here tonight.
Boy, I think Clock is doing a super job out there running this offense for the Zephyrs and doing a good job on defense. Gary.
Andy Stevens, a nice defensive effort from the weak side.
Fatzinger fade away, and he has it. Bob Fatzinger picks up his first deuce. to pull Central Catholic to within 1. They trail 38-37, 2:20 remaining and running.
Boy, I like Fatsinger's mobility now that he's trimmed down. Much more athletic, nice turnaround left-hand jumper.
They're giving Jones a field goal, and he's fouled. Aldinger, his fourth personal.
Right into the heat of the battle. This is just nice, good, quick hands by Jones. You see he's under the basket. He's able to lean back, kiss off the glass, score the 2. Now an opportunity to complete a 3-point play.
40-37, Whitehall. 2:10 remaining, and Jones on the line to complete the 3-point play. He missed his last 3. He has 2 out of 6 from the foul line tonight. But he got that one to complete the 3-point play and give the Zephyrs a 4-point advantage. Here's Stevens. Checks off. Aldinger. Bang. Gary. Cross towards Stevens. Up high. No. Fatzinger, no. Rebounded by Zote of Whitehall.
Boy, Fatzinger catches another tough break inside. Great positioning. Just went up with a nice little tip, but just didn't get the roll.
1:40 and running remaining. Whitehall by 4. And they have the ball. Clock.
Oh, and another new rule in high school basketball is the lack of action rule. They can dribble it around near midcourt. That little dash, that 5-second line no longer exists. Oh.
Lesicki, 7th field goal for Pete. And a foul. This one will be on Gary. And that'll be... No. That's on Jamie Brett. Excuse me, at Whitehall.
Watch Lesicki. He's calling a timeout. I think he's a little winded. I talked about him having an ankle injury. He has not worked out. What great control of that upper body. You see, he's looking for a foul. The legs were kind of clipped out from underneath. Didn't get it. But they get a timeout here and an opportunity to rest. John, let me get back to what I was talking to a minute ago. In years past, you needed to create activity. You needed to get it by that little timeline. That rule is no longer in effect. It's called no lack of action rule, and now that is no longer in effect. You can stand out by midcourt with the basketball underneath your arm for the whole 4 quarters and not get a turnover called against you.
Very good.
So a couple of different changes this year to things for you to look for, and look for coaches to take advantage of a couple of those things. And I mean, really, when you go 4 corners, that's going to really open up the court where you can really work it at a half court.
73 seconds remaining in this basketball game. And Whitehall is up by 6 points. Whitehall wins this, and boy, this will be a big opening win for Zephyr, and for Ron Hassler.
Oh, it really will, and again, it's a little bit of an upset, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's Whitehall basketball is something that, these young men prime themselves for, and when it's their turn, they're ready to play.
Fang is right by the bucket, gets it over to Aldinger. Aldinger up off the glass and in. It's only the 5th field goal for Jeff. 43-39. Now we're in a countdown. 50 seconds and counting.
Oh, and a tough shot by Aldinger.
Yeah.
Left-hander moving to his right. Uh-oh.
He intercepts it. Gets up over the center court line. He's liable to let it fly. Stangy. Underneath. Stevens has it. Stevens. 8th field goal for Andy. 43-41. 30 seconds and counting.
Good pass by Spang and good body control and discipline by Stevens.
Look out, look out. 21 seconds. Zephyrs turn it over. Central Catholic will have it back court, and we have a timeout. Charge this one to Ron Hassler.
Well, and again, the reason that Central Catholic is able to get back into the game is because of Whitehall turnovers. Now we're going to get a look at Aldinger here. Now look at him going to the right, and then have to raise up into the defense and the kiss off the glass, and good for the 2 points. But the key, it's setting all of that up is the defense. I mean, Whitehall now with 4 turnovers here in the fourth quarter, 4 in the third, and they have led the nice runs. Now let's look again now. All right, we're going to look now at the next pass. This one might be the nice pass from Spang. Look at the good communication. You see Stevens is able to sneak along that baseline, but look at the good discipline and control. Allows the defense to leave their feet. Boy, and once they're up there, then you have him and just raises up and get a nice roll.
All right, so that's the story. 21 seconds remaining in the ball game. Whitehall leading 43-41. When time is back in, the Vikings will have possession back court. There you see Gary Spangler crossed away in a striped shirt. There's the picture. There's the story. Don't forget, we'll see you 1 week from tonight over at Bethlehem Memorial Gym. When Allentown Central Catholic will meet Liberty. All right, the Whitehall fans yelling defense. Stevens will work it in. Bang. Clock is running. 15 seconds. Allinger for 3. No. Jones rebounds, and there's a foul. With 10 seconds remaining, the Zephyrs go to the line. I think it's on Spang.
Now, they won't go to the line. Here's this new rule now.
Okay.
That's only the 16th foul. You need to get to 7 now. So already we see a little bit of difference.
10 seconds remaining. 43-41. Jamie Dress will inbound. He gets it in to Clock, and there's a foul.
Now that is team foul number 7.
That's on Spang.
Well, and you knew that that's what was going to take place. Spang going in trying to come up with a basketball, but commits a tough personal foul, and Greg Spang is a tough basketball player. Plays with a lot of intensity. He's been battling the flu a little bit.
And he'll leave with 5 personal fouls and scoreless on the night.
Look for better things from Greg as the year goes on. Battled the flu for the last week or so. Rich Baxa, second year.
Sure. Clock on the free throw line. Scoreless on the field. 3 out of 4 from the foul line.
Aldinger raised up. About 10 seconds to go here on that three-pointer. Nice job by number 50 Jones of controlling the boards and limiting Central Catholic to just 1 shot opportunity.
And timeout for Allentown Central Catholic. Whitehall was 17-1 last year, 23-6 overall, 17-1. They lost the East Bend Conference Championship to Easton, and then avenged that loss by whipping the Red Rovers for the District 11 Quad A Championship to walk off with the district title.
Well, I guess they call that coaches meeting at the beginning of the year the Liars Club, because nobody really, lets out what they're...
Everybody picked people.
Right. So anyway, well, this year, the preseason, and in the order that now this is the coaches, they picked Easton 1, Allen 2, Central 3, Parkland 4. Parkland, by the way, a team that I think might surprise a lot of people this year. 5 is Whitehall, 6 is Freedom, 7 Liberty, 8 Northampton, 9 Peaburg, 10 Deeruff, 11 Bethlehem Catholic, and 12 Emmaus. We were talking about the league with the new 20-game schedule. Also, you have a couple of new coaches, George Isaacson at Deeruff, Carl Smartson taking over at Emmaus, and not a new coach, but a different job, Dan Kemeter over at Bethlehem Catholic.
All right. Jeff Clock on the line.
Now, 1 will not ice it. 2 will ice it. It's a 2-point game.
9 seconds. 43-41. He got it. That's Clock now with 4 in a row after an opening miss from the foul line. 44-41. Central Catholic, another timeout. Their third here in the second half.
Well, you talked about Clock on the night, John, and big free throw there in typical Whitehall fashion. How many times in a year did we see a guy like Mike Buskirk step to the line and ice a game in that situation and not give you the opportunity to get back into the game after committing a foul where they hope that you miss? And Clock gets the first one, but like I said, the second one now real important. It's a 3-point Whitehall lead with 9 seconds to go. If Clock is able to convert on the second one, it should ice the game for them, you know, barring an unforeseen circumstance here towards the end. But a typical Whitehall Central Catholic battle coming down again to the wire. It might be night number 1 in league play as you're looking at the Zephs. You know, and I saw some familiar Whitehall players here from past. I saw Tony Medina and, you know, guys that, you know, have gone through these wars. And you don't forget those things. You don't forget moments like this. Clock, who has not seen a lot of varsity time, a senior 5'10", step into the free throw line with 9 seconds to go to tack one on. Now he needs to tack on another one.
All right, Jeff Clock on the line. 9 seconds remaining. Whitehall leading 44-41, and he can add another one. Played a good game tonight.
Really did. Good floor general, controlled the ball, the defense, really did a nice job, and he's the kind of guy that Coach Hassler's looking for to fill those shoes vacated by Buskirk.
5'10" senior, no. And there's going to be a foul, and this one will be on Lisicki. His second. 7 seconds. Only 2 seconds went off the clock.
Well, Central Catholic now needs 3. Now, Whitehall has 4 team fouls. Keep in mind they need to get to 7, so they still have 2 more to give here.
Oh, look at this. Do you believe that?
I'll tell you what. The officials, the officials are putting the second back on the clock. John, I don't know if Whitehall wasn't trying to foul there. They allowed Aldinger to wheel and deal and can a circus shot right there. Now to tie the game, they are winding the clock down. They're going to put 1 second on the clock. It will be Whitehall basketball.
Just about where was that from center line? I was watching the ball.
Well, it was halfway between the three-point line and midcourt. And again, I'm not so sure that Whitehall wasn't trying to take one of those fouls. They just never got in position to foul Aldinger. Again, they'd have to foul him before he got the shot off, because in the act of shooting, he'd get 3 free throws. But if they got him during the dribble, then they'd just take the ball out of bounds.
Bob Miller coming back into the lineup. I guess backs want some height. They won't allow him to come back in. So Fatzinger has to come back in. Clock winding down to there. They put that 1 second back up there.
Well, certainly here, I think you got to certainly keep an eye on number 32, Pete Lisicki.
At the end of regulation, we'll go into a 3-minute overtime period. Ay, 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 ay. What a way to start out the season. There's the crowd here, still talking about that shot, 3-pointer for Aldinger. That was his 6th field goal of the night and his 4th 3-pointer.
Well, there you see it. You see that he wheeled and he made a nice little spin move outside to free himself from the defensive pressure. And he does a smart thing there. You know, when you have range on a jump shot, you don't need to get right to that 3-point line where the defense is looking for you. Let it go from 5-6 feet beyond there and square yourself and maybe get off a better shot that's not in so much traffic, and it worked for Aldinger that time.
You know, and I'll tell you something, Mike. A lot of people in here tonight are probably sitting back and saying, he was lucky. Not really. That is usually his shot.
He makes a lot of unbalanced, off-balance shots.
And
you're right.
a lot of 3-pointers, so that's not out of his range. That is in his range. Where are you?
There we go, over there. There we go.
He makes him, that's his range, and that's the same as Lisicki. He can pop it from any place in the court, and when they can win, that's not a lucky shot.
No, you're right. I agree with that. I mean, under the circumstances, certainly there's a great deal of pressure on it, but it's not a shot that Jeff Aldinger has not ever made in his career.
Right. Okay, here we go. 3-minute overtime period. Number 1, Jones, and Fatzinger in the center circle. Who gets it? Central Catholic steps on the baseline. So Whitehall will have an opportunity to break this tie. Spangler over talking to the official scores about something. 2 seconds went off the clock. Inbounds pass to Jeff Clark. Clark guarded by Aldinger. Did you see Jeff's father here tonight?
I did not, no.
I didn't see him either. 17-footer up and in by Matt Zolt. That's his fourth.
The Zephyrs have led throughout most of the game. Central Catholic was able to get a 1-point lead at the end of the third quarter, but then Whitehall got the lead back through most of that fourth quarter until those heroics by Aldinger.
46-44 Whitehall. Central will have the ball underneath their own basket. Andy Stevens will inbounds. He does. He gets into Fassinger to Aldinger. Aldinger over to Brendan Gary. Andy Stevens. Aldinger. Jeff Stevens. Gets a good screen from Fassinger. Baseline. Bingo! Andy Stevens with his 9th field goal.
Real nice two-man deal there. A nice screen by Fassinger. Yes. And a nice touch by Stevens coming up on that baseline when the pressure did get to him.
And we're tied at 46. Almost a steal, but there's going to be body contact and a foul on Andy Stevens, his third.
Well, I think Andy's a little bit upset with himself. I think he read that pass all the way, but you see, the little hesitation on the pass made him wait a little longer, and then as a result, he got there a little late. A nice job by Zoke of coming to meet the basketball and creating that contact.
Matt Zoke goes to the foul line for the first time tonight. He has 4 field goals in his ball game. Substitution, Tim Cramsey back in the lineup for Central Catholic. There's Oak. Got it. That's his 9th point. (47-46) Central trailing in the ball game. 140. Aldinger. Gary. Plug out. Turn it over. Zoke takes the ball away from him. Over to Lisicki.
Well, you have to love the courage of Matt Zoke. He's got the basket here in overtime and a big steal there. He made him a couple mistakes at the end of regulation, but really coming up big here in overtime.
Foul on Aldinger. That'll be his 5th. And he has to go.
Well, and Lisicki at the free throw line will have an opportunity to increase the margin to 3, and certainly with Aldinger leaving the game, that does take away one of the 3-point threats. Greg Spang is already fouled out. Fortunately for Central Catholic, if there is a strength, it is at that guard position, but they're starting to even wear a little bit thin right there.
Mike Smith, 5'11" sophomore, into the lineup, replacing Jeff Aldinger, who leaves with 5 personal fouls.
Oh, and Smith's first activity of the night. Tough place to come on in here in overtime. So personal fouls now taking its toll as 2 Viking players have now fouled out.
Lisicki 1 out of 2 from the foul line tonight to go along with 7 field goals. 48-46, Whitehall. Look out.
Oh, we can't see the possession hour, so we're going to have to wait. The Vikes will get the basketball.
1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. 48-46 Whitehall. The Central Catholic, without Jeff Allinger, will have possession backcourt. Stevens inbounds to Brendan Gary.
Look for them to set something maybe up with Stevens and Fatzinger on that little nice deal that they ran a couple of plays ago.
Foul against Gary, his second.
Take a look here. Good anticipation. Just a bad pass there, and then Whitehall is going to scramble for the loose ball. Nobody coming up with it, but before that, the personal foul called.
And not the right man to put on the foul line. Lisicki. 2 out of 5. 3 out of 5, excuse me.
He's missed twice on the night and kind of coaxed that one in.
But it gives Whitehall a 3-point advantage. 4-point advantage, a big one.
See Stevens now controlling the offense out in front. Talked about the many positions he can play. Forward, point guard, he even posts up inside. Strong move there.
And he got it. Stevens with his 10th field goal, 50-48. Whitehall leading. Lisicki, 35 seconds and counting. Joke. Oh, look out. Foul against Gary.
Let's take a look at a good, strong move by Andy Stevens. Nice, quick move with that first dribble on the left hand. Gets himself into position to convert on the 2 to draw Central Catholic to within 2 points.
I thought he was going to go backdoor that time.
Well, again, this is a key free throw. We saw Whitehall miss the second end of it in regulation time, allowing Central Catholic to hit a 3-pointer to send it into overtime. Now we'll see what Lisicki can do.
51-48 Whitehall, 28 seconds. Got it. That could do it.
I'm not going to say that. I thought Whitehall had this game maybe won 2 or 3 times in regulation, only to let it get away.
Stevens gets it, and he is fouled.
Well, and I'll tell you, it's still not over. This is a heck of an effort again by Andy Stevens. You'll see Gary trying to get something going there. Stevens now inside. You just saw him handling the ball out in front, able to go then inside and come up with an offensive board and convert. And now he's going to have an opportunity to tack one on from the free throw line and cut the margin to just 1 point. It is right now Whitehall 52, Central Catholic 50.
Just 15 seconds remaining in this ball game. Time is back in. The Vikings will go to the free throw line. It'll be Andy Stevens, who has 3 for 3, to go along with 11 field goals tonight. 2 out of the 11 are 3-pointers.
Yeah, and he really has kept Central Catholic in the game.
No question about it. He played a great game.
Really has. The turnovers certainly were a key there for, well, there's Doc Horlocker. Getting a little airtime. Hoofed it.
He better return some of those jackets he has. He's walking around with there.
I like that nice turtleneck he's got on.
Yeah, he took off a nice windbreaker, too.
Baba.
There's Gary. There's Gary, our man Gary.
He did a heck of a job getting his monitor going. That's right.
Getting a picture. All right, Andy Stevens, or Andy's right here. There he is. 15 seconds. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, they missed the keeper. And Whitehall gets it. They had it.
Boy, I'll say Whitehall really dodged the bullet. It actually went against them that the free throw was missed because they couldn't control the board.
That was an intentional miss, too. He aimed for the back rim. The 1 point would have been no.
The 1 point was not all that big. You're right.
It was nothing. He needed the 2, and they got possession.
There's the opportunity that Central Catholic does not convert on. Then the scramble and the battle for the loose ball. You see knocked out of bounds by Central Catholic. Whitehall then taking charge, and then the foul committed on the inbounds pass.
So 50, that should be 52, 3 to 50. Timeout, Central Catholic.
Well, Coach Baxter looking for another rabbit maybe to pull out of his hat in this situation. Got to believe now if Whitehall can convert on that free throw line. And again, you're only at a 3-point lead. That 3-point line might be one of the best things they brought into the game of basketball to create this kind of excitement. If it wasn't for that line, we wouldn't even be in overtime. You see the story right there with Whitehall on top by 3, but with an opportunity to increase that to 4 with only 8 seconds to play. Elsewhere in the league tonight, Freedom was at Allen, Durham at Parkland, Easton at Liberty, Northampton at Emmaus. We were tied at 44 at the end of regulation. Whitehall in a game that they have led from just about all start to finish. Central Catholic was able to get a 1-point lead after 3 quarters, but then Whitehall gained the lead back and controlled most of that throughout that 4th quarter, and then in the overtime jumped on top by 2 and has kept that lead to this point here.
All right, Joke back on the free throw line, has 2 out of 3 tonight. He can put icing on a cake. Of course, we said that before.
Yes, we have. Like I said earlier, I think Whitehall has really missed 2 or 3 good opportunities to put this game away.
Joke, 6-foot junior. Saw some playing time a year ago. 54 to 50. Gary for 3. Has it.
Wow.
54 to 53.
And I think only the fact that Whitehall did not have to get the ball in bounds is the reason this game ends. Geary is perfect on the long-range bomb, and again, he does what I talked about Aldinger did. He raises up before that 3-point line where they're waiting for him, gives himself a better opportunity to convert, and he does. And now at this point here, with only 2 seconds left, Whitehall does not need to inbounds the pass, and as a result, they will pull out a win. And, you know, again, it's the same old story. You know, Whitehall with a record of 50-4 over the last 3 East Penn Conference seasons in the regular season is a team that year in and year out will have to be contended with. And it looks like that story is going to remain the same again. I mean, they have to gain a great deal of confidence, you know, starting 4 new players here tonight along with a young sophomore, Pete Lisicki, in beating Central Catholic, one of the teams rated to finish high in the East Penn Conference this year. For the Zephs, that will raise their record, not raise it. This is the opener, 1-0. 1-0 to start the league as Mr. Lisicki gives me the high sign, and they're off and running and out of the gates. For Coach Baxa and Central Catholic, their record will drop to 1-2. They will be playing Liberty on Friday night. Now, Liberty's at Northampton. Coach Baxa will drop to 1-2, and it will be 0-1 in league play. And John, I really think that this is maybe things to come in the East Penn Conference. I really feel that while maybe the overall quality of the league might not be as strong, I think from top to bottom, you might run into a league where parity is really going to be the key word, where on any given night, you know, you're going to see action like this from top to finish. I don't think there's going to be one team dominate the league the way Whitehall has in the past, where they went 17-1 last year and has been 50-4 over the last 3 years. I think you're going to see teams, you know, maybe your top team might have 3 or 4 league losses.
All right, are you ready to rock?
Let's roll.
Are you ready to roll? Here we go. At the end of the first quarter, Whitehall led 14-10. They outscored Central Catholic 10-8 in the second period to take a 24-18 lead into the locker room at the halftime break. The third period belonged to the Allentown Central Catholic as the Vikes outscored the Zephyrs 15-8 to take a 33-32 lead after 3 quarters of play. Look at Johnny Walton, Jr., a cameraman. In the fourth period, Whitehall outscored Central Catholic 12-11 to tie up the ball game at 44 and send it into overtime. In the overtime period, the first 3 minutes, Whitehall outscored Central Catholic 10-9 to win the ball game 54-53. Individual scoring honors for the night for Whitehall High School went to the Fullerton Slingshot. Pete Lisicki, 7 field goals, 2 of them 3-pointers. He had 6 out of 8 from the foul line for a total of 22 points. Jeff Clark, scoreless on the floor, 4 out of 6 fouls for 4. Joe Botcher, a field goal for 2. Matt Zook, 4 field goals, 3 out of 4 fouls for 11. Steve Jones had a good night, 6 field goals, 3 out of 7 from the foul line for 15. So the line for Whitehall, 18 field goals, including 2 3-pointers, 16 of 25 from the foul line for their total of 54. They had 11 personal fouls called against them. For Allentown Central Catholic, Andy Stevens had a great night. He had 11 field goals, including 2 3-pointers, 3 out of 4 from the foul line for 27 points. Jeff Aldinger backed him up, 6 field goals, including 4 3-pointers for 16 points. Mike Smith was scoreless. Brendan Gary had 1 field goal, a 3-pointer for 3. Greg Spang was scoreless. Tim Cramsey, a field goal and a foul for 3. Bob Miller, a field goal for 2. And Bob Fatzinger, a field goal for 2. So the line for Central Catholic, 21 field goals, 7 3-pointers, and 4 out of 5 from the foul line for their total of 53. They had 19 personal fouls called against them. In the preliminary ball game tonight, the Little Vikings won a JV game 56-52. So that's it. On behalf of our fine technical crew and my sidekick, Mike Zambelli, I'm Johnny Dady saying good night from Whitehall, where the Zephyrs of Whitehall edged Allentown Central Catholic in overtime 54-53. This has been a Super 2 Sports presentation. Good night, everybody. Good job.